So that is great. Awesome stuff. It is Tuesday. We know what that is. It's Triumph Tuesday. This is AKA Donny Bus Live in New England with two.
Sisters, hey, good evening, everyone. This is Janice, aka Wellness Diva 5.0. And on this Triumph Tuesday at night, my gosh, there's so many different things trending. I don't even know where to start, but I will say it's birthday eve. And the funny thing that I realized the other day, what's today, Tuesday? Yes, Triumph Tuesday at night. So the 21st was the 41st, obviously the day before your wedding. And you and John, of course, just celebrated your 41st wedding anniversary, but it also was the 41st anniversary of something else.
On the 22nd or the 21st?
The 21st.
On the 21st. Oh, yes. Yes, that was a grand old time of people being behind bars.
Yes, and we'll just leave it at that. And if you really want to know the full story, let us know. And of course, we will.
Forgot about that.
It's a funny wedding story.
It sure is. It sure is.
We'll just say that I got a call while I was still at work that day, and it's a call I'll never forget. But anyways.
Yes, and I just stayed in the shower with a bottle of champagne and I was good to go. But yeah, it is a funny story. And I love those, because a lot of times any kind of event, whether it's, wedding, birthday, whatever, you always have those quirky memories of that one year, or in this case, it was the eve of. But that adds to, the quality of the stories that you tell from, long ago.
Yes, and of course it makes you think that, people that were in your life at that time and, all those good memories too. Excuse me.
Sure.
One guy.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was going to say, before we get too much further, before I forget, I want to give a big shout out, 90th birthday today to Mame, Liz Lyman's mother. She is a sweetheart. She just turned 90 and she loves going to Maine, and she actually goes to this lobster place, and she said, I'm celebrating my 90th, and she had a mac and cheese she had a grilled cheese lobster grilled cheese sandwich. She said it was amazing. They gave her extra lobster, so I thought that was pretty cool. 90 years old, what a milestone. She still gets around. Of course, she's not driving anymore. She does have the aid of a, one of those, like what Dad had, the automatic wheelchair, but she gets up, she moves around, and still has that spunk. So God bless her. And she's celebrating it with her daughters and her grandchildren and her great grandchildren. So it's pretty cool. 90 years old today.
Wow, that is amazing. So happy birthday, Meme. Oh my gosh, beautiful.
Yeah, she's a sweetheart. She's a little hot ticket, and she cracks me up. So, I actually called her today. I said, how are you? She goes, oh, I'm right in the middle. She was at a gift shop buying jams, and she was telling me all about her lunch. And it was, of course, a beautiful day in Maine. So she was having a good old time, and God bless her. It's just nice to see, people in that age bracket, which, obviously that narrows at 90 years old. And, once you get into that period of your life, and to see someone still healthy, really, the vitality is still there. And she's really just loving life, with all her family. So it's pretty sweet.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Wow. 90 years young.
Yeah, exactly. So what's trending? Well, games are trending in the house that I am at with the grandchildren, and we've been playing pickleball almost every morning or early afternoon, so we're getting in some great games that way. Jed and Papa have been playing a lot of soccer. Reagan's been playing pickleball, but what's really trending is the different board games we've been playing. So I just got off of a lot of card games. We played War. We also played the memory game, which is, a bunch of different little squares, and they're real thick cardboard and they got pictures on them. and you have to obviously make the match. So I 0 to 2 in that game. War, I think I'm 0 to 3. And what else did we play? We played this other game where you have 3 cards and it's a picture of all these different things. And then you have other cards that you have to see if that's in your picture. And they've got that game down pat. That my score there is 0 to 1. But I finally won 2 games in a row and it was Old Maid. So,
wow, there you go.
and the person that lost took it with grace. I was very surprised.
Oh, okay.
But it wasn't Johnny, it was Ray Ray. She said, this game's over. Like twice in a row, loser, I'm done. So yeah, so we've been playing a lot of like board games and fun games outside. It was obviously another beautiful day in New England. We sat at the pool for quite a bit. And then, like I said, we did, yard games and pickleball. So it's been just really enjoying and loving to see them enjoy, the weather as well as, just having fun with them.
That is so awesome. And, that's always a good thing. And, as I was walking out today, the peonies, yes, the peonies that are out in our yard. And I don't know, for whatever reason, I think of Princess Ray Ray with the pretty, I think it reminds me of her, all her beautiful dresses when she's in the different pageants. Something about that flower that reminds me of Princess Ray Ray. And boy, are these bushes or whatever they call them, they're just really starting to pop out now.
That's awesome. And we may head in that direction tomorrow. They actually have a modeling gig that the family is doing, which is an all-day event. So we might head that way. So I would love to see them. I want to try to see if I can even go to Elizabeth Park and see the tulips, because those are all in bloom. And it's the springtime in New England is unique because of their flowers. Like in Florida, we have different seasons when different flowers come out, and we are so blessed that something's always coming out. Even in certain winter months, even some of the bushes are just bright and you feel like they're flowers, but maybe they're not. Their leaves might be. The one thing I have been noticing out here, which has been in abundance. So we're, want to give everyone a heads up, especially in Massachusetts. I'm not sure this is happening everywhere. The ticks are out in full blast. And we were sitting at the pool house playing cards out there. And actually it was Judd and I that were playing cards. And literally he was like, and ticks are hard to kill, but he had 2 stones that he kept using. And, we're really just double checking that, your socks, your shoes, your hairline, your body, that, because they can just get on your clothes and you can walk right in the house with them. So we've been diligent about really checking our body and our clothes and hair and neck, anywhere that's, especially for outside playing pickleball, you get a little sweaty.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's going on in Connecticut, but man, there's tons of freaking ticks here and they're ticking me off.
Yeah, you ticked off at the ticks. Yes. Yeah. It's that time of year. And of course, we just about a month ago switched out the Monsters collar there. It seems to be doing its thing. So that's always a good thing. And you check your pets as well. You still need to check them, even though they do have the collar and that sort of thing. It's just, it's good common sense for sure.
Oh, it absolutely is. So I have not been on really social media other than to post a few things and then I'm off. What's trending that you've seen or anything that pops out with you? Because I know you're all about that popping.
I would have to say that, out of all like the different social media platforms, since Elon Musk took over Twitter, I really am enjoying Twitter so much more now. So right. As far as trending or triumphs, something very important is happening tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. on Twitter. Elon Musk will be in one of I think they call it town something. I'm messing up. Town hall, something like that, of that nature, where a certain governor from the state of Florida will be having a discussion with Elon and will potentially be, that's when he will introduce that he's, running, going
Yeah,
to be
more,
running.
the more the merrier in the race. I think that gives people, a really good avenue. Everyone that in there, I think, is amazing. But I'm going to give a big but. And the reason why I'm giving that big but is no one in any of the categories thus far, whether they're senators, former governors, whatnot, have the experience that Trump has. But not only that, it's the world stage piece. We are in such a crisis as a country, between the border, between drilling, between, what's going on with these foreign, foreign countries that are, pursuing pieces of the pie that is the United States of America. Although I think they all could potentially eventually be good, I just don't think it's their time. I think, and everyone goes to the old standby regarding Trump, in his mouth. I think thus far he's been doing a good job of kind of wheeling that in. Do I always like it when he opens up his trap? No. But the bottom line is, I have never questioned his loyalty to its citizens. And the reason why I say that is everything that he's endured. Obviously, the Durham report, for those that did not, believe what many people did believe, you've been proven wrong. And the proof is in the pudding. The Durham report was a very non-biased element, and it took like forever. And they always kept coming, it's coming out, it's coming out, it's coming out. And I'm glad in some regards that it didn't come out right away, because it really showed the integrity of the actual investigation. That no, we're not going to rush, we're not going to fabricate, we're going to get down to the dirty and figure this out. And it did. The report absolutely did that. Although, like I said, for many, they already believed, they already knew, because the evidence was pretty outstanding of what went down. So, it has implicated many other questions for the current administration, and so it should. So I'm happy about that. Again, I think it's great that the GOP leaders are coming together, and we're going to get a nice variety. I think any of them would be suitable to be a vice president for sure, because they would get a real good feel as to really how bad things are. And if people think, they keep saying, oh, his approval rating. And I'm not one to necessarily believe in stats unless it's truly a non-biased author. And that's few and far between. The only one right now I would trust to do a legitimate stat would be Elon Musk. That's the only person in the world that I would trust that he would put exactly what that is. So, those that, claim that the current stats that are not favorable to the current administration, I'm not sure how worthy they are. I'm not sure how accurate they are, but I don't need a stat to tell me how bad he's doing. I don't need a stat when I look at the gas pump, and he keeps talking about, gas is coming down in prices. You inherited it at $1.89, buddy. So while, yeah, you think they're coming down, that is a direct reflection of what he did to stop our own way of being independently from oil, and be independent from other countries. And everything that he's undone within the first 72 hours of his administration has proved to be detrimental. And anyone that has their, I want to say, the common thing they say is you got your head in the sand. They got their head in the shitter. As far as I'm concerned, your head is in the shitter. You hear it first from me. Your head is in the shitter, because if you don't really understand, or have a blindfold, or you're still watching CNN or MSNBC, shame on you that you are not changing the channel, or don't even bother changing the channel. Do your own due diligence. There are many alternative ways to get information. regarding our country, regarding local news. There's a many, and I would encourage people to get your head out of the shitter and start really understanding that this country is lost right now. It's not irredeemable. We are always redeemable, and this country will come back stronger than ever with the right people. But I sadly don't think, other than Trump, that while again he's got his flaws, I like that he's got flaws. I like that he's not phony. I like that he's not polished. Because let's face it, when we get pissed off of what's going on in our big G, when we get pissed off of the alphabet agencies that be, we say it like it is. So I want the person in charge to say it like it is. Call them out, fire them all. And the first person I like to see fired, that should be a question we should ask our viewers and listeners. Who would be the first person you would like to be fired? I'm going to go with the acronym and FFF, and I'm going to go with Chris, and it's not Christopher Columbus.
Gotcha. Yes. And which brings me to the next point. Last week with MTG was #impeachment week. So what I don't, and I was trying to look up this information today, you always should try to educate yourself, or, like look things up for yourself.
Right.
You can find different things, like what is the next process? Okay, so they've been filed. So now what happens? I'm trying to understand that process of it, because we haven't heard too much more other than, what people are saying on Twitter, what they are referring to. And the other thing on Twitter that I've seen a lot of, speaking of the presidential GOP and everything going on, is different polls and surveys, like who would you vote for, other than a lot of them today, other than Trump or DeSantis, who would you vote for? Like,
That's an interesting one. And the other thing, as we learned from the past few circus elections, that the front runners and or the early stages of who's ahead is not necessarily who's going to win.
That is correct. And I thought,
because don't you think, we talked about, that, and a lot of people still fall back on, it is a conspiracy theory. To me, what is pretty bold and pretty blank is it's a blank page, but it's not a blank page. I do believe the evildoers at hand, they decide who's going to get in and who's not going to get in. And let's swap it around for next year. Let's swap it around for 4 years to give this false sense of that the American citizen that has the right to vote is feeling confident in the system. That system sucks. Although I have to say, in Florida, as we've talked about, one of the biggest states in the U.S., they also have early mail-in voting, obviously for our servicemen and women, but also, if you're not going to be there. And guess what? Those are all counted. And at the time that the polls close, with a very short period of time, what the results are. Now,
right.
Florida can do it, and we have to show our ID, and I have no problem with my ID being shown. No one in Florida has although to the contrary, there's a lot of people, I guess. Funny thing I captured that was trending was, of course, the ladies in the morning on The View, really pushing that, Florida is a state not to move in, that we are racist, that we're white supremacists, that we're homophobic. And then apparently with the LGBTQ LMNOP, there's numbers now. They were going over that, like the damn thing is so long, I can't even keep track of it. It is a bunch of baloney. I can't even believe that show is still on, to be honest with you.
Well, yeah, because what I found very interesting about all those schmucks from The View, because to me they're schmucks. Obviously, they have a right to voice their opinions, but the NAACP has determined a, you know, a
Stay away
travel,
from the window.
oh, a travel ban. And I'm thinking,
Yes, that's what it was.
why
Travel
haven't
ban.
they done that for Chicago?
I know. I mean, you want to put a travel ban for Florida, but let's come into Chicago, where every other day there's like 10,000. Well, that's an exaggeration, but there's multiple murders. Okay,
It's horrible.
black on black crime is hideous. They're not dealing with that. That is one thing that I love that Senator Scott talks about, and I like that he does. You know, as a black man, I mean, he's been putting up with his own, or not his own, but his you know, outside set of rules, and you know, kind of drilling him on certain things because of the color of his skin, which I think is the most bizarre, stupid thing, that they keep pushing racism left and right. And yes, we know, you know, you got black and white, you have night and day, you have good and bad, you have, you know, evil versus, you know, goodness. You have all sorts of sides of a coin. So, of course, in a world of sinners, you're going to have, you know, things that aren't going right. But at the end of the day, a lot of these percentages are just that. They're not as big or as widespread as everyone thinks they are. And they're cramming it down. And you got a small group of people. And I don't disregard that it does happen. Of course it does, but it's not most people, black and white. That's the furthest thing from their mind. They just want people to live peacefully and happily. I mean, even the kids in school, you know, they're not looking at the kids' color. Oh, I can't talk to you because you're, you know, you're brown or you're white or you're black or you're, you know, yellow. They're not doing all that nonsense. It's the flipping stupid adults.
Right,
They're
because
dumb. They're
let's
dumb.
let's face it, all of that is, in my opinion, is learned.
Oh, of course it is. It's learned
It is
behavior.
absolutely learned, and it's just beyond. And I want to say, you know, I always believe in hope. Let me start out by saying that I always believe in hope. But this morning, as I catch up on a few news things, I like doing that, and I'm just like,
Stay away from it like the plague.
and then the NAACP thing, and I'm like, just shaking my head.
No, it's all about division. Don't you think it's all about like division and divide?
It absolutely is.
And you know, evil lives, people. We are staring at it every single day. And sadly, those in charge are pushing an evil agenda to make people mad, to make people stressed, to make people feel angry. And most importantly, like you said, hopelessness. They want you to feel hopelessness, like there's no way out. And when you make someone feel they're defeated, when you make someone feel that there's no alternative, there's no goodness in the world, there's no kindness, there's no grateful hearts, there's no blessings, people get depressed, they get upset, they get aggravated, and they feel a sense of why bother? It's hopeless. And that's what they want. They want the mentality of the American citizen to feel all these negative feelings. And we live, even in these current times, we live in an abundance country. We have all people from all backgrounds that pour out kindness, that pour out grateful hearts, that work really hard, that want the country to flourish, that they want, you know, entrepreneurs to have that freedom spirit of being their own boss. They want to be energy independent. They want, you know, economics to get in line with the average American. Those things all can be accomplished. And a lot of them are already they're there. It's just the narrative of these meatballs that really, either their hatred for the US is so evident that people are blind, or they really just don't care what people think. They're just going to do whatever they want because they're pushing. And I truly believe this, and this is my opinion, I truly believe that they're pushing a socialist agenda to make people feel bad, to have no hope in the future. I am very hopeful for the future, even in the current status of what we're going through. I am hopeful for the future. I'm hoping that things turn around, and they still can be. And that's the point. And that's why you need someone who's been put through the ringer every single day of the presidency and still came out with accomplishments. This schmuck, and that's what he is, this schmuck that's currently in the administration I can't think of one thing of an accomplishment that he's done other than to destroy. I really can't. And I'm sure there's maybe some small things. I don't know where they are, but obviously because he's done so much bad, he's done so much destruction. That's all people are going to remember, even if he's got some good things, which is sad because he does have the ability to change it around, but he just doesn't want to, or the people that are controlling him don't want to.
Well, I would have to say it's the latter.
Yeah. Because there's a part of me that he doesn't even realize what's going on. I'm going to just go out there and say it.
Well, that's absolutely true. I mean, did you see him come off of the helicopter, Marine Force One? I think they Marine One or whatever.
Yeah.
And
what did he do?
When came back from Japan, he looked like a deer in the headlights. He was just like not with it. Like, and I was like, oh my God, is he gonna fall? Like, as I saw that.
And what I think is sad is most decent humans and Americans think him being in this position, while obviously he's doing a lot of destruction, he's not fit. Why would you want to put someone that you love in that predicament? Or why would you want your party to put someone in that predicament? He is not well. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care, blah, 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 blah. He's too old, number one. And not to say that someone his same age can be on point, that can't be articulate, that have mental clarity, mental awareness, because there's many that do. He does not. And his health has been failing for a while now. And this garbage that there's nothing wrong with him, that's why anything that comes out of their office is not credible. It's just not credible. You turn it off. You say, this is not going to be nothing but lies, and I don't want to deal with it.
Well, it goes to the point, when KGP there is at her podium attempting to answer questions when you see what's happening specifically, let's say at the border,
Sure.
And then a question is asked with her at the podium in the press room about the border, she says something completely opposite. And it's like, what do you think? People are stupid? They are not. I just shake my head.
Well, my prediction is that both of them will go down as the worst in history. And there's been others that have been really, really bad, but I have to say the two of them, they'll go down in history as a circus, as uninformed, but dangerous. They're both dangerous, very dangerous people of what they've done to our country. Dangerous. So you're talking about whoever comes in office has to have thick skin, because heads should roll to start cleaning. You're not going to clean out the entire deep doo-doo. But they got to start not only peeling layers, they've got to get to the stinky onion way down and deep as they can go. And there's not many that have not only the experience of dealing with a dirty administration and a dirty party. He's the only one. Whether you like, when he opens his mouth or not, he is the only one, not only that can endure, because his family's been put through hell and back, but I've never seen a president in my lifetime work as hard as him. You don't see the lights going out at the White House at 7:30 p.m. because it's milk and cookie time. You don't see him hiding in a basement He's out there with the people, for the people, by the people, period. And there's no other man in my book. I don't care. I even have friends that are staunch Republicans, and they'll argue that point with me. And we don't argue it. We talk about it, and like, we do like him, but I don't think we can win with him. You most certainly can, because he's the only one who that can roll his sleeves up and work his butt off to make that necessary change that we need and start to clean house. It's not going to get done in the first 4 years. The amount of damage that's been done, we're talking a long time to recover, but he could at least get through a lot of the shista and prepare the office for that next person, which I think is one of the ones that will run for the primary, will be set up better in 4 years from that time frame. That's my hope. And I'm putting it out there in the universe. I'm doing it right live on the podcast. I am not ashamed to say I'm a Trump supporter. That's just how it is.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And I think the travesty with the Democratic Party is the DNC has stated that there's not going to be a presidential debate. And I think that is a travesty for any party. Obviously you have RFK Jr., who I personally think is definitely going to get the nomination. That's my prediction. Obviously I can be completely wrong. But wouldn't it be nice for all of the voters, not just Democrats, but for conservatives, for Republicans, whatever, to see Democratic candidates debate, and then of course whoever is the party nomination, each other debates one another.
I mean, that's the fundamentals of an election. You put them on the spot. You add none of these okay, I know who's calling on me, what question's going to be asked, and I'm going to rehearse that for 10 days before I do it. That is not what I'm referring to. That was one thing that Trump did when he was in New Hampshire a couple of weeks ago, which I absolutely loved, is he kept taking questions. He didn't need no cue cards. He didn't need to know what scum of a reporter was going to ask him a question. He didn't care. And the questions were coming from the people. Mm-hmm. So he doesn't know these people. Obviously, they're there to support him, but they're randomly asking questions, and they were great questions. And he kept saying, "Okay, a few more." Like, he didn't cut people off. He didn't like run off the stage or have to be guided off the stage, or basically roped and tied to get him off the stage. He stayed there with the people to answer to the people. That is the point of a debate, for everyone to be able to witness how a candidate, number one, will hold up under pressure, but also answer the flipping question that are on the citizen's mind. And then, of course, you get those different debates where, again, they're controlled by the media with a certain agenda. So I prefer a town hall style meeting with away from the traditional sense, because those are cooked right from the get-go. I want to see something that's not cooked. I want something raw. I want something natural. I want more citizens in the audience to be the ones to ask the questions, not these so-called reporters who suck. And that, again, their bias screams at every question they ask. And then you see who they're targeting. I don't want any of that crap. I think it should be held on Twitter. I think Elon Musk should run it. You get somebody in there that truly can say, hey, we can stand up to the heat. We are going to ask some tough questions. No one's going to get any favoritism. Everyone's going to get the same amount of time. Everyone's going to get the right to do a rebuttal. Still be timed. You can still run it very organized and smooth, but God help us. I mean, we need that to be gutted out, that whole debate system to be gutted out as well, because it's already proven all these acronym media outlets, they got their own agenda, which aligns with the Democratic Party.
They all certainly do. And the other thing is, what drives me up the flipping wall, okay, nobody wins a debate.
No.
You know who wins something is, you win something like when you're elected. a debate is subjective and objective. Therefore, you can't say, oh, President Trump won the debate. Oh, this one won the debate. Did one maybe do in
Perform better.
your opinion do a little bit better than the other? Yes, but I'm sorry, people, nobody wins a debate.
No, they don't. And to me, it's based on their performance. How well did they actually answer? Because that's one of the things of a debate that pisses me off is some just don't answer the freaking question. People don't want to have like a 2-second answer and then their agenda pops in, or they give something like, even I can't remember where it was. It might have been one of the less State of the Union addresses or something to that fact, and they curtail it to their agenda. No, people want to hear that a question is asked and that the actual answer has to do with the actual question instead of this going off. I think what you see from a winner or loser perspective, who managed to answer the questions, who performed well under pressure, who rebutted well. So to me, it's all about learning what you can by the answer, but then also who's postured, who can handle the heat. Because guess what? If you can't handle the heat of the debate, how are you going to handle what's going across, against our enemies? You have to be able to stand on your own 2 feet, be postured, be firm, be confident in your answers, not this whole you're juggling and mumbling and hiding in the basement nonsense. So for me, that's the only way that you could determine who presented themselves well. Other than that, like you said, you can't really predict who's a winner unless you got someone who did answer a question, got pissy and stormed off. Then yeah, I guess you could say somebody else is the winner. I've never seen that happen, but never say never.
Oy vey. And on that note, Triumph Tuesday at night.
Yes.
And what have you triumphed over? We talked about some real spicy stuff today.
Right.
What's transpiring. I, of course, tomorrow evening will be monitoring what's going on Twitter to see and hear. Of course, they've got that similar to Clubhouse and the Wisdom Audio app, which is a pretty cool feature on Twitter. So
I think I'm gonna have to put my Twitter. I have not had Twitter on any of my apps for forever. I just took it off, but maybe I'm gonna have to put it on for that.
Yeah, it should be pretty interesting for sure. And and on that note, we hope that you have an amazing Tuesday evening. My name is Janice, aka Wellness Diva 5.0, and I'm with 2
sisters, and this is Carol, so aka Naughty Boss. Getting ready to see, I'm gonna have to check myself out, make sure I got no ticks before I go in the house. We want you to enjoy Triumph Tuesday. What have you triumphed over? Was it something that was impacting your mindset? Maybe you almost derailed from something, whether it was your schedule, whether it was your fitness, whether you were tempted a little bit to dive into that whole chocolate cake, and you backed off and said, not gonna be, sugar is not gonna win me today. Whatever it was, maybe you triumphed because you made your bed. Give yourself a pat in the back and say, hey, I did a good job triumphing over that. And guess what? I can add that to my kudos to myself on Fantabulous Friday. Anyways, we see you tomorrow for Wellness Wednesday. I think it's going to be, a little birthday going on as she talks about her week-long birthday, which a lot of people do that nowadays. So it's kind of cool. Anyways, enjoy your evening. We will see you tomorrow. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.